store with a clerk. If you're asking directions from someone, you just want to, you don't want to come across to the person as being very commanding, very direct. You want to be polite. That's the way of sounding more polite in the language. Okay. Well, before we start our next lesson, let's take a break. Okay. Because what I have to do is probably going to take about 20 minutes, and then that'll be too long. So we'll take a quick break, about 5 minutes or so, and then 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll come back.
Come back on time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Can do.
Yeah. See, if I wanted to say this to real directly, I says, will you come back on time?
Yeah.
Or I could say, I wonder if you're willing to come back on time. Yeah. Say direct, indirect. I think it would be a good idea if you came back on time. That would be an indirect way of saying it.
It will be maybe 4 minutes.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Because he said, why you put about present tense again?
Where?
It means he said that he would be, but you say always will, always use the present. I don't understand.
Well, yeah. Why there are two different tenses? Okay, it's a good question. For example, right here, when it says Mr. Smith said, he's referring to the fact that this statement occurred in the past. Okay? See, when it says Mr. Smith said, I will refuse their offer. If we want to put it into an indirect form, we could say Mr. Smith said that he would refuse their offer. That's how we would say that.
Indirect speech.
Indirect.
Indirect.
In indirect, we would say Mr. Smith said that he would refuse their offer.
Yes.
That would be the way to say that.
But you taught me will.
Oh, did I say will?
Yes.
Oh.
Then
yeah, William said to me that.
We use would, right?
Well, it could be correct. William said to me that he will not see Mr. Jones until Tuesday. That would be correct, because that means that he's reporting what William said in the past, but he's saying that what he said in the past was that he will not in the future see this other person.
Is both present or past is okay?
Yeah, it would be correct to say it is correct to say William said to me that he will not see Mr. Jones until Tuesday. That would be okay.
Okay.
It would also be okay to say William said to me that he will not see Mr. Jones until Tuesday.
Both correct.
Both would be correct.
Okay, thank you.
Because we're saying that that statement occurred in the past, but that he's not going to see Mr. Smith until some point in the future. So either will not or would not would work. Yeah.
Excuse me, one question. If I cannot see I cannot see when you stand, but only I cannot see the you say that the polite word.
Oh, like if I'm standing and you can't see, and you know, well, the direct way of saying it would be, will you please, will you move? That would be direct. And I wouldn't take offense to that. I would move. No problem. but if you wanted to ask it indirectly, you would think, you could say, teacher, I wonder if you could move so I could see the board. Yeah. Or, I wonder if. I wonder if you could move so that I could see the board. That's what that does, because if you say, will you move, that's more of a command, it's a question, but it's very assertive. But if you said, I wonder if, then you're giving me the choice of either moving or not moving. So it's a good example of being direct or being sort of indirect. And when you're doing business with someone, we use indirect speech a lot. Like let's say you're going to buy something from a vendor on the street, and you want to bargain the price down a little bit. You could be very assertive and say, let's say that it's 500 baht, and you only want to pay 300. You could just say, will you take 300 baht? Or, I'm wondering if you would take 300 baht. It's a different way of approaching the problem. And in some cultures, it's acceptable to be very direct. In other cultures, it's more appropriate to be indirect. And part of doing business is to know who you're dealing with, whether it's okay to be direct or whether it's appropriate, more preferable to be indirect. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. See, if she wanted to ask that directly, she's, I'm wondering if you would like some pineapple.
Teacher, next time we go to National Museum, any day is it convenient for you to tell me and your group?
Yeah.
National Museum.
Yeah. We'll set a date for that.
Yeah.
We'll set a date for that.
National Museum and Golden Mountain Temple.
Which temple?
Next temple, the Golden Mountain.
Golden Mountain?
Golden Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh.
We go up and we look around.
Where is it located?
Upstairs.
It's Goodwill.
Yesterday, myself and teacher Julie, and then two teachers at a different Wat, John and Harry, Maha suraphet took us to Wat Po Kale. And Pramaha is a tour guide extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Tour guide extraordinaire. You know what that means? Extraordinaire?
External.
We have the book for guide. Good book for guide.
You are good guy.
You have good book for guide.
External. Guy.
Playing about Thai architecture, Thai culture.
Extraordinary is like superlative, the best.
Extraordinary.
Outstanding, excellent.
Yesterday, mid back, maybe we took the taxi, different taxi.
Want to share?
What scale, we cannot see each other. Many tourists.
Teacher, which one is correct to say between?
Is what?
Which one is correct to say between time break and break time? This one is correct.
Break time or break?
Or time break.
Well, it would be more correct to say that it is time to break. Or we could also say we will take our break. But to say break time, that's hardly ever said.
Time to break.
Yeah.
Time to break. and what teacher time to wait and Does anyone have any questions from what we've covered already today? Because today was I think these were new ideas, new concepts for us. The idea of direct speech, indirect speech, and how to turn direct speech into indirect speech. That was new to you, I think, and so I'm wondering if you have any questions. See, it's a direct, indirect way of asking that. I'm wondering if you have any questions. A direct way of saying it is, do you have questions? An indirect way of saying it is that I'm wondering if you have any